Jakub Mensik has quickly become one of the most exciting young players in men's tennis. But away from the court, fans have also become interested in his relationship with Josefina Catino. Josefina is from La Plata, Argentina. Before meeting Jakub, she had already moved to Europe, spent time living in Dublin, and later settled in Valencia, Spain, where she began studying tourism and leisure management. Her life had nothing to do with professional tennis, which makes the story of how they met especially interesting. In 2024, Josefina was working as a waitress at an Italian restaurant in Valencia. One evening, the restaurant hosted members of the Czech Davis Cup team. One of them was Jakub Mensik. Josefina did not follow tennis closely and had no idea who he was. She later recalled that she did not even realize she was speaking to a professional player. According to her story, she made a racket-like movement with her hands and asked Jakub if he played tennis too.
For a young ATP player, meeting someone who did not recognize him was probably unusual, but it also allowed them to connect without his career becoming the center of the conversation. Josefina found him attractive and decided to make the first move. Before Jakub left the restaurant, she asked for his Instagram. That simple moment became the beginning of their relationship. They started talking, but almost immediately had to deal with distance. Jakub was preparing to leave Europe to compete in Asia, while Josefina remained in Valencia for university. Their relationship therefore became long distance almost from the start. Jakub's schedule meant constant travel between tournaments, while Josefina had classes and her own life in Spain. They had to plan time together around flights, tournaments, and short breaks. Despite the distance, the relationship continued, and by 2025, fans began seeing clearer signs that they were a couple. One major moment came after Jakub's breakthrough victory at the Miami Open, where he defeated Novak Djokovic in the final to win the biggest title of his career. Soon afterward, Jakub shared personal photographs from his time at home in the Czech Republic. Josefina appeared in several of them. The pictures showed the couple hugging, riding in a car, having meals, and spending time with Jakub's dog. Josefina replied publicly with "I li," short for "I love you." It was one of the clearest early confirmations of their relationship. Their relationship has become more visible through social media too. Josefina shares photos from tournaments and trips, while Jakub has included her in personal posts away from competition. Those glimpses have allowed fans to follow their story without the couple turning it into a public spectacle. Even as Jakub's fame grows, they still appear to keep their private life away from constant attention. Josefina gradually became more visible at tournaments, but she continued studying in Valencia rather than simply following Jakub around the world. As his ranking and profile grew, she appeared supporting him in places including Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome, and Paris. One of the most important moments came at Roland Garros in 2026. Josefina reportedly made a last-minute decision to travel to Paris to watch Jakub play. She packed quickly and made the trip so she could support him in person. The visit turned into one of the most memorable tournaments of his career. Mensik produced his best Grand Slam run at the time and reached the French Open semi-final. Television cameras repeatedly showed Josefina in his box, reacting during matches. For fans who had only recently learned who she was, Roland Garros made her much more recognizable. It also showed how much had changed since their first meeting in Valencia. When Josefina met Jakub, she barely knew anything about tennis. Less than 2 years later, she was sitting courtside at one of the biggest tournaments in the world, watching him compete deep into a Grand Slam. Travel has also become an important part of their relationship. They have shared moments from places including New York, Greece, the Maldives, Switzerland, and Miami. One especially memorable moment happened in Miami, where Jakub and Josefina attended an Inter-Miami football match and watched Lionel Messi play. For Josefina, who is Argentine, seeing Messi was naturally special. Jakub joked publicly that, during their date, he had to compete with Messi for her attention. Their different backgrounds have also created some interesting cultural connections. Josefina is Argentine and Jakub is Czech. Through their relationship, Jakub has learned more about Argentine culture and picked up some Spanish. He has even written messages to Josefina such as, "Hermosa, te amo." Beautiful, I love you.
They mainly communicate in English, but Josefina has been helping him learn Spanish. Jakub has also become familiar with Argentine traditions, such as mate and asado. Because Josefina is from La Plata, he has even learned about the city's football culture. Josefina supports Gimnasia y Esgrima La Plata, and Jakub has mentioned the club while talking about her background. At the same time, Josefina has had to learn the lifestyle of professional tennis. Before meeting Jakub, tennis was not an important part of her life. Now she understands the constant travel, pressure, and unusual schedule of the ATP Tour, but she continues building her own future. Josefina is studying tourism and leisure management in Valencia and has expressed interest in hospitality, customer service, communication, and management. She is expected to continue her university studies while balancing occasional trips to support Jakub. That gives them separate professional lives.
Jakub travels around the world competing in tennis, while Josefina studies in Spain. When their schedules allow, they meet at tournaments or travel together. One reason their story stands out is the way it started. Josefina did not approach Jakub because he was a rising tennis star. She did not even know he was a professional player. There was no tournament introduction, sponsorship event, or tennis connection. There was simply a restaurant in Valencia, a Czech Davis Cup player, and an Argentine waitress who liked him enough to ask for his Instagram. From there, they built a relationship across countries and time zones. As of 2026, Josefina continues to be publicly described as Jakub Mensik's girlfriend. She has supported him at major tournaments and appeared in personal photos from different stages of their relationship. There has been no confirmed engagement, marriage, or announcement about children. For now, they appear focused on their own careers and on maintaining a relationship around one of the busiest schedules in professional sport. Jakub Mensik is known for his powerful game and rapid rise on the ATP Tour. But away from the court, Josefina Catino has become an important part of his life. The Argentine woman who met him without knowing who he was, asked for his Instagram, and later found herself supporting him from his player box at the biggest tournaments in tennis. Their story began with a completely ordinary conversation in Valencia, and that may be the most memorable part of it. Before the rankings, cameras, and Grand Slam runs became part of their relationship, Josefina simply looked at Jakub and asked him if he played tennis.